Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Doesn't Even Matter podcast with your host T, and as always, my esteemed colleague Ryan.
Yeah. Yep.
Ryan right now is living in 1776 as he has no water.
Oh yeah. The water main broke in my town.
That
Yeah, fun
sucks.
stuff.
Must have got like frozen or something. I know
Yeah,
you live in
frozen at
Alaska,
50
basically.
degrees. It just exploded, I guess.
That sucks, though. So he's stinky as ever. He hasn't taken a shower in a week. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, the other night we got to see HBO's show True Detectives. I really liked it. It's similar to like the Silence of the Lambs kind of with an upbeat, feel to it with two detectives, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and it went a little bit different than I initially expected. It's not like your typical cop drama show where you're watching two people wittily go back and forth between these sayings and that are basically all pre-scripted. It actually has a more realistic, true to life feel. I liked it a lot. What did you think of it, Ryan?
I thought it was a more deep show, as you said. It's not like the witty cop drama like from the movies or all the TV shows where they have to they do seem to like not like each other as much as every cop detective drama has it, but it's different. It's got like this other element to it that's not the norm.
Yeah, they're definitely button heads together. These two, they come from different backgrounds. One seems to be like this family man. The other guy is more of like a loner and party animal kinda. Although they did give a little bit into his background. I don't want to give away too much because I'm sure you guys would want to come check it out. This is on HBO. It was it Is it Mondays at 9?
Every Sunday.
Oh, sorry, every Sunday at 9.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock Eastern time. It was really good. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's something I definitely recommend. Now, recently we've been playing a lot of a game called DayZ. This is based off the Arma engine. It's a true to life shooter. It's about as realistic as it gets. It's kind of like Navy SEALs. The guys are dropped in, and you're supposed to take out enemy troops, all while being silent and all. It's pretty cool. But this is the DayZ game, which is based off that type of game, but it's set in a zombie apocalypse. Now, this is an early access alpha game. It is not out yet. It's something that's going to be coming out in probably about a year and a half. So it's way off.
Beta's going to be about a year away.
Yeah, beta's going to be about a year away, and figure about a couple months before they finally release the actual game itself. Now, we've been playing it for a couple of days now, and it's not easy. You have to basically survive in the apocalypse. If you get sick, you have to administer medicine. If you can find it, that is, while you're not getting killed. There's people actively out there hunting you. After they get equipped, there basically isn't too much to do in the game at the moment, other than just to scrounge up for items, hunt a couple zombies, and to explore. So most of the people are hunting you, which makes it difficult because you're trying to get around while not getting shot. I had a close encounter the other day. I wasn't expecting it. I was in the middle of actually a menu as I was eating food. Guy opens the door, starts unloading on me before I even got a word to say, hey, I was a friendly. And he starts shooting, I start shooting. I wind up dying. I don't know what happened to him, but he didn't give me much of a chance to retaliate. And I started over, and we gathered a whole bunch of items. Last night we're hunting some people, and we came across somebody, and of course Ryan here took advantage of that opportunity as we had 3-1, and he was completely like stripped basically of gear. You want to explain what you did?
Well, I force fed him like random stuff from my inventory that was like, I don't know, like cleaning stuff after somebody handcuffed him. And then he spoke up like, "You guys done?" So I shot him. You know.
You forgot to mention how you accidentally drank some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol of your own.
Oh yeah. In the game, I accidentally drank it, and it doesn't it can kill you. So yeah, don't do that unless you have like charcoal tabs and like antibiotics to get rid of it and food. But eventually it went away. Otherwise, I would have died.
Yeah, he was lucky. I actually had found some charcoal tabs while I was searching all the apartments and all the medical buildings and all the military facilities. I came across them, and I wind up picking up very specific items to make sure that if anything comes across with an illness we can handle it. Because if you get, if you get attacked by a zombie, you start bleeding, so you have to bandage yourself up. I mean, it's like I said, it's about as realistic as you can get, as far as an apocalypse simulator. It's just with zombies, and yeah, you have to carry a lot of essentials and make sure you have, the right gear and the right equipment with you. Otherwise, you're gonna die fairly quick. Last night we wound up going to some type of air base, and we were looking for stuff there, but we wound up ending it because my computer wound up crashing. I'm not sure why. I don't think the game's really optimized right now. Like I said, it's an early alpha, and it runs my graphics card pretty high, which is an Asus 780 Ti. So it's a very high-end card, but it's pushing it to its limits. Granted, I have the settings up fairly high, so it wound up crashing. We wound up stopping after that, but we'll be playing more this week. You can check it out on my Twitch. We'll have that listed underneath the video here. So if you want to get it, go take a look at it and check it out. I have a bunch of videos up there archived, and it's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. I'll be looking forward to it when it finally comes out as beta and finally the release of the game. They'll be implementing vehicles and stuff like that. You'll be able to repair the vehicles. Granted, you find the equipment to repair it and the tools to do it. Now, recently I had seen a video for the Xbox One. Some guy had posted on YouTube. He was demonstrating all the features that the Xbox One has. He had a Surface 2 Pro, and it connects to your Xbox. Now, he was using a prepaid cable box that he bought. He put this antenna on his wall, and he was getting cable TV through like a a non-contract cable box. So he paid one payment of like, I think it was like 30 or 40 or $50 for it, and now he has cable TV. And using his Surface Pro, he was bringing up all the TV guide basically, and watching everything, and then he could press play whatever he wanted to watch. It came up on the Xbox One, and then he could continue scrolling through on his Surface tab without interrupting what's happening on the TV. It was really neat. And he was all able to do this with, a few $100 worth of equipment on top of the Xbox One. It's amazing what you can do with this thing. A lot of people don't have any ideas of what it's actually capable of. Now, you were mentioning, Ryan, that Microsoft was recently coming out, or going to recently come out with will soon come out with a new updated Xbox.
Yeah, either a new updated Xbox or adding 4K capabilities down the line. But I've been hearing that like February there might be something coming out from Xbox. And also there's a chance like maybe a year or two from now that they'll actually come out with another console, like a next-gen Xbox One with higher specs on it. And since the first one would be based off PC, they can just, throw the next one in there.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be competing more with the Steam Box, because the Steam Box is going to have several tiers of consoles coming out, and you pay it based on the price, and you get a better console. And it's kind of like, a computer, same thing, except it's just going to be built all in one for you, and they're taking all the hard work out of setting up a computer, and no one knows that more than me and Ryan recently. Just getting all the equipment I have hooked up on my end has been ridiculous. I have a capture card hooked up to my Xbox One, which is hooked up to my cable box, which is hooked up to my TV, then connected through my capture card into my PC, out of my TVs. I must have like 7 or...
the splitter.
Oh yeah, and the new splitter. In fact, excuse me. Speaking of which, I just got a new 4K splitter that can handle Ultra HD and 3D. I was having a problem with the other splitter that I had bought recently, which was a brand new one. Was able to do 1080p, but for some reason I kept losing signal from my TV. It would just cut in and out, and I knew it was a splitter. It wasn't any of the wires, because I never had the problem previously. So I wound up getting this new one. Now it can handle up to 4K. I paid $10 more, so in my eyes it was actually worth it. So I'm ready for whenever the new 4K TV I have will, I'll be able to do it when that comes out. Although I don't expect any of my console or computer to be doing 4K gaming anytime soon. I could do it with my 780 Ti on the low end, but I just don't see it being
You can run
broadcast.
medium settings, but two 780 Ti's, you could probably get like 60 FPS.
Yeah.
4K on medium to high.
Yeah.
But you really need like two Titans, honestly, for like full-fledged 4K. At CES, they actually had three 60Hz 4K monitors running off four GTX Titans.
Wow.
$4,000 worth of graphics cards.
Yeah. That's not something the average consumer is going to be able to enjoy. So maybe in a few years.
I would enjoy it.
I would enjoy it if it was given to me, yes, of course. But
Yeah.
going out and buying that, it's just not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, that's four graphics cards that cost as much as my whole build of my PC. It's just too much. Not to mention, we're looking forward to getting a new camera so that we can actually film some short films and videos and movies that we want to do.
Camera / also 4K editing rig, or at least a higher end editing / graphics rig.
Yeah, we've been looking at something called C100, which is a Canon, and also another Canon. We seem to like Canon a lot. The 1DC, which is what I'm trying to shoot for. It's $13,000 right now, so we're trying to work hard to be able to afford that. And that's going to give us something that can shoot 4K, I believe, at 30 frames a second, 1080p at, what is it? Is it 60 or can it do higher?
1080p, yeah, 60, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I know, I'm almost positive it can do 60, but I thought it could do even more than that. I figured 90.
No higher than 60 frames a second on that camera.
Okay. But, you know, for $13,000, this is a camera that's able to push out something that would rival any movie that's been made recently, I'd say for the past like 5 years in terms of quality. It would either compare to it or beat it. And that's for something cost $13,000. That's not bad considering several years ago, just over a decade ago, that would have costed you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's getting more affordable, but it seems like they're almost milking it at the same time. I mean, some of these cameras, in fact, we were looking at videos from Philip Bloom. He was talking about how the camera has the ability to do certain things, but the manufacturers aren't allowing it to do that. And he was investigating it recently on a video he made, right? You said
he was talking how the the Sony Alpha, Sony A7R or whatever it is, and that thing's capable of actually doing more. And if they were to hack it, you could see like its full potential, because it still has noir and aliasing that pops up more often than some of the Canon cameras. But otherwise, it's a pretty awesome camera.
Yeah, we were looking at a video that he did. It was the video within the video within the video, as he called it, the inception of video camera reviews. It was pretty in depth, and I liked it. Some of the cameras were very nice. It was actually impressive for how much low light the Sony camera could shoot in, as opposed to some of the higher end cameras that have a hard time. I mean, Red cameras aren't really good at shooting in low light, and they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So for them to get something that costs a couple $1,000s to do that, it's pretty impressive. Now, granted, it doesn't have the high fidelity that the other cameras does, but it's still something to consider when you're shooting in low light. If you have a scene that might be in a dark alleyway, this might be the camera that you want to use, because it can pick up something that the other cameras might not be able to. Now, some of the shows that are going to be coming out recently or very soon is House of Cards Season 2 will be launching, was it February 14th?
February 14th.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. That's a really good series. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's on Netflix. It's about Kevin Spacey, who's a very, how can I put it? I wouldn't say he's a corrupt politician, although he kind of is. He's done some questionable things, but he's a very aggressive politician. He wants power more than anything, and he does whatever it takes to get to that position. And it's really good. It's very well done. It's, like I said, it's airing the second season coming out February 14th. So if you get a chance, check that out. Also, the Game of Thrones Season 4 trailer was released recently. I didn't watch it out of personal preference. I don't want any surprises ruined, especially for one of my favorite shows. But it is out there. If you guys haven't seen Game of Thrones, maybe you've been living under a rock. It is the best show, as far as I'm concerned, on TV right now. Very well written. kind of follows something like Lord of the Rings, but not really. It's a little different, but it's definitely well worth watching, especially if you're into that type of genre, the fantasy genre. But if you're not, you got shows like Ray Donovan on Showtime. That's starting season 2. When is that coming out? That's
I
going to
think
be
it's
soon.
also in February, but I don't know the exact date. They haven't released a trailer yet, from what I know.
Okay. Yeah, Ray Donovan is about a guy who works for some of Hollywood's elitists, and he's the kind of go-to guy to do some stuff that's not really legal. And he's kind of like a fixer. He fixes problems and he gets the job done regardless of what he has to do. Kind of like Kevin Spacey. And that season 2 should be coming out sometime in February. That's another good show. And I haven't seen this, but Ace watches the show called Banshee. So you can tell him about that.
Banshee's really good. They just started season 2. One episode's been out. They got like I think 8 or 10 episodes prior to this new one. It's about a thief. Like he's a notorious like diamond and art thief. He got caught up like with a mafia boss's daughter, and then he ends up getting arrested, and she gets away, and he goes to jail for 15 years. Comes out of jail, and he goes to this town looking for her, which she's like assumed a new life, different identity, and he falls into the role of the sheriff of the town after serving 15 years in prison. And it's an Amish town, and there's like a Indian casino, so you can guess there's some shenanigans and crazy stuff that go along with the show. But every single episode is like watching a season finale. It's very good.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. He's been telling me to watch it, and constantly keeps asking me to watch it. But there's just so many shows out there that I really like. Some of the ones we named, a few others we haven't. Breaking Bad just ended recently, so we watched that. Walking Dead is going to be picking back up, so that's why I haven't picked up Banshee yet. But it's definitely something I'm going to check out too, because it does sound interesting. Now, in the news recently, there was a court ruling that overturned what's called net neutrality, and that's basically the FCC had set up a law to kind of protect the consumers, so that the internet providers couldn't charge you tiers, kind of like they do for cable TV, where you have to pay for the higher end cable and to get access to certain programs. In other words, they actually overturned this rule. So now that the companies, they said they're not going to do it, like Verizon and Comcast and all, to where they can charge you to have access to Netflix. So now if you wanted to have access to Netflix, they could charge you $10 before you could even get Netflix to use. And I don't like this. I think that the internet should be a one fee, and it shouldn't cost anything more than like $50. Then it's ridiculous. Your cable bill is expensive as it is. I think this is a kind of a way for the cable companies to keep their firm grip on people, to keep purchasing their services through the TV and all that stuff, by trying to make the internet seem like it's going to be really costly. I don't think that's fair to the public, and I hope that the public has a negative reaction if they attempt to do this. They said they're not going to do it, but I never trust any companies when they say they're not going to do things. Usually a few years later, they wind up backtracking on it, and it's kind of a loss for the consumers that the FCC doesn't have control over this, because they were trying to regulate it to where the internet providers couldn't do this. Now they're free to do it because our court system figured that it was okay to allow business to continue as usual and kind of, rape us on surcharges, and it's not right. The internet is a tool that's very educational. Granted, a lot of people use it for entertainment as well, but it's something I believe should honestly be provided through almost taxes. I think, almost everybody, if you have a computer and you want to pay a minimum tax on it, should get internet for free. It's like having the free library of any city. It's allowing you to be able to use it at your discretion. You can use it for educational purposes, especially people that have kids, several kids in school. It beats going back and forth to the library all the time or to anywhere else to get the information. It's a lot easier. I remember going, when I was a kid, back to the library. It was annoying. Now you can just go on to Google, type a few things, bam, you got the information right there at the tip of your hands. And to deny access to the average consumer or the average person, I think is ridiculous, especially since they're talking about trying to make tier systems where they might surcharge you extra for access to particular websites. And that doesn't include their service. That's just giving you access to it.
Yeah, that's just them trying to be greedy and trying to stack, the billions up even more. It doesn't cost them that much. Like, I think it was there was some act that happened in like 1994. It was like the Internet Television Act. I don't know the exact name, but I know they got like billions of dollars just to update their infrastructure. They didn't even really update their infrastructure. They just kind of kept the money. I mean, they should be rolling out fiber everywhere. I mean, some people pay like $50 a month for like 5 download, 1 up. Like, then there's other people who pay like $150 a month or more, like $400 a month for 100 up, 100 down, like business grade internet. And honestly, everybody should have at least a decent connection, like 50 download, 15 up, or even higher. Like Google Fiber should be rolled out everywhere, 100 up, 100 down.
Yeah.
No doubt about it that everybody should have access to better internet. It would make a lot of people's lives easier.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of these companies are doing that because of competition. Sometimes they don't have competition in a particular area, or they might have ran the only line to an island, and therefore they get to charge you whatever because they ran that line to your island so that everyone on the island can have service. In fact, when I worked at Comcast, they had a woman who literally had a pole, like I'd say about 100 feet from her house, then 100 feet from her house either way. And in order for her to get cable, they had to put a pole in front of her house. But they were going to charge her $1,500 to have the pole put in because otherwise they don't make any money. Because to get $1,500 back from her, even if they were charging her $100 a month for her cable bill, it would have took them over a year and a half before they started recouping back on that investment. And it was kind of shitty that they did this to her because, she didn't really have any say on whether they put a pole there or not. It's just that they didn't put one, and she moved into the house not realizing that, wound up wanting to get Comcast's service, and all of a sudden now she had to pay this bill. Well, I think they wind up not charging her because she complained and all. Thankfully, that was nice of Comcast not to do that. But, at first she had to fight for that, and I didn't think that was right. And they do the same thing. If you live in an area where you don't have cable in your area provided by multiple people, that one company will milk you. And like Ace said, or Ryan said, you will get charged, $100 for something in a city that would normally cost you $30. Just because they're not going to make their money back on their investment, when in fact the government helps them out when they're having issues with that, because they do want everyone to have internet. They want everyone to be connected. Society does benefit from that. It makes things easier. You use less gas, for instance, when you're going out and driving all the time. So it does kind of help preserve some resources, because now you're not driving back and forth to the mall. I do all my purchases through the internet. I mean, I can't imagine not doing it any other way. It's so much easier. I can find exactly what I'm looking for and I don't have to go back to one store, to the next, to the other store, just to see if they have the product there. And then, I can't see reviews. I can't get that guy's honest opinion. He might be a salesman trying to sell me something. So now I can go online, go on the internet, find what I'm looking for, search it up, see all the reviews, buy it if I like it, ship it to me. I don't have to leave my house. It's amazing times.
Yeah. Half the time you go to places like Best Buy or Staples and you ask the person a question. If you do know what you're looking at and you just ask them a question to see if they're even like knowledgeable on the stuff, they just give you some answer that doesn't even make sense. I was helping my friend find a laptop, and he didn't really want a gaming laptop. He wanted something with battery life, an i7, a fast little laptop. And some guy was like, "Oh yeah, you can run any game with at least 6 gigs of RAM." And I was like, "So you can run Crysis on Ultra?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure you can run Crysis on Ultra." I was like, "Even at 1080p?" And he's like, "Yes. Anything with 6 gigs of RAM, as long as you have that, you can run the game." And of course I kind of was being an asshole about it because the guy didn't know what he was talking about, but I just kind of reinstated that to my friend, that the guy that was trying to sell him something didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, you would need, what, like 32 or at least 16 to do that.
No, gigs of RAM. I'm not talking like graphic RAM. He said you just needed RAM.
Oh, he was saying
video RAM.
You didn't even need a graphics card to do this?
Yeah.
No, it's far from the truth. You couldn't even run that game
run
without
Crysis
it.
at 1080p on Ultra. You need like a 780 Ti, a R9 290X, or a 7950. Like the game's just like one of those ones that isn't the best optimized, and it just looks really good. So it's tough to run it unless you get some crazy hardware.
Yeah, you need a graphics card that costs it as much as the computer he was probably looking at in itself.
Yeah. But the guy was just kind of like, oh yeah, you can do that, just so he'd buy it.
Of course, they're salesmen. They're working
I mean, he did end up buying that same laptop, but it was the one he was looking for anyways. It's just funny.
Yeah, because then the consumer doesn't find out until months later when they actually go to use it for what they intended to do. And they're like, wait, what's going on? How come I can't? Oh, look at that. I can't return it. Oh, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Buy it now and then get your antivirus and all this stuff that you don't need.
Yeah.
Do you want a warranty that we're not going to honor? Sure.
So, I guess that's it for this week. I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
No, just nice short podcast. We got a couple other videos coming out, and we should be having a special guest that will be joining us for a lot of podcasts from now on.
Sometime this year.
Sometime. Hopefully he watches this so he can join.
Yeah, we've been trying to get him on the podcast to come on as a guest every once in a while since I think it's October, and he's been having computer issues, and he's the type of guy that takes about an hour to cook minute rice, so we're hoping sometime this year he'll be on the podcast if he's listening, and we'll be able to enjoy some of the laughs he'll be bringing along the podcast. He's a very, it's to say the least, he's an eccentric character, and yeah, we're looking forward to having him on the podcast. But thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe to us. And as always, you can find my Twitch channel through the link below. And hope to see you guys around next time. Talk to you later. Bye.